The story of this family might seem ordinary, but one stray kitten managed to become a true symbol of hope, inspiring them to keep living despite hardship. My mom's sister is named Carol Johnson. Whenever her family came up, acquaintances were always impressed by their close bond. Their house was filled with warmth and welcome, so friends and family often came to visit. Her husband, Bob Johnson, was a handyman who could fix anything around the house. He also had an incredible sense of humor, knowing tons of jokes and funny stories, which made him the life of the party. Their son, Mike, was a well-rounded kid. Besides school, he was in the boxing club and played guitar with confidence, bringing his friends and family joy with his performances. Carol, or Aunt Carol as we called her, was an amazing cook, and she loved to sing. Their home was full of happiness and harmony. They made decisions together, as a family, without arguments or disagreements. One day, they decided to drive to the beach. However, a fateful encounter with a drunk driver who swerved into their lane changed Carol's life forever. Bob and Mike died instantly. Carol didn't regain consciousness for a week. She spent 2 months in the hospital, but despite the doctor's efforts, she couldn't walk again. The biggest problem, however, wasn't the physical pain but the complete apathy towards the world and life itself. Back home, Carol spent most of her time by the window, in a special chair. She refused food and avoided people, closed off by her grief. Then, one early morning, as if from nowhere, a tiny, bedraggled, and dirty kitten appeared. It confidently settled on the narrow 9th-floor windowsill and stayed there all day, until sunset. The next morning, it was back in the same spot. This went on for 3 days. It just sat there, looking intently into the window, as if waiting for something or someone. Carol couldn't resist that persistent gaze and finally asked me to open the window. As soon as it opened, the kitten, without waiting for an invitation, confidently walked in and started exploring the apartment. It went into every room, sniffing every corner, and then, as if it owned the place, settled in the living room armchair. From that day on, that spot was his. The only exception was Carol. When she sat in the chair, he would happily curl up on her lap. If anyone else tried to take his throne, the furry guardian would hiss unmistakably and wave his paw threateningly, immediately deterring any challenge to his rightful place. The little guy often enjoyed chasing his shadow, basking in the warm morning sunlight, and curiously exploring the world around him. Looking at his sweet little face, it was impossible not to smile. He looked right into your eyes, as if trying to tell you something in his own special language. My heart melted when I saw Carol smile as she watched the charming creature. Like any pet, the cat needed attention, care, and maintenance, feeding, bathing, cleaning up after him, playing with him. Carol, without even realizing it, started moving around more. The kitten liked to fall asleep on her lap, and while grooming his fur, he would sometimes lick her legs. One day, stretching after a nap, he extended his claws, and Carol suddenly felt pain, the first sensation in 7 long months of numbness. After a while, she started moving on her own, first around the apartment, and then she dared to go outside. Carol is convinced that all of this was only possible thanks to Felix. That's what she affectionately calls her furry friend. Moreover, she confessed to my mom that, just a few days before the cat appeared in her life, she had been having dark thoughts about the point of living. Overhearing this conversation, I was so moved that I got goosebumps. It turned out that this unexpected guest played a truly pivotal role in her fate. Now, it's hard to call this handsome fellow just a cat, and even harder to call him just a tenant. This impressive 18-pound fluff ball is the undisputed master of the house. Carol's entire day is dictated by his whims and habits. With the first rays of sun, he wakes her up with insistent meows at the door, as if inviting her to start a new day. Then he sits importantly on the kitchen chair, eagerly awaiting his meal. Once, Aunt Carol went to another city, and Felix stayed with us. Right after she left, he sat by the front door and didn't move from there for almost 2 days. Neither his favorite salmon treats nor gentle cuddles could comfort him. Only when his owner appeared on the doorstep again did tears actually stream from his eyes. That touching scene is forever etched in my memory. Since then, they don't separate for long, always trying to be together. They've traveled to Florida, enjoying the beautiful scenery. Carol even bought a special carrier bag for pets. Aunt Carol is a woman with special charm and appeal. Recently, her neighbor proposed to her, to create a strong and friendly family. However, Carol replied without hesitation that she already had a family. At that moment, I finally realized how important and dear to her faithful companion is, a simple, but very dear cat, Felix. The profound loss of her loved ones seemed to extinguish the light of life in Carol. She was in the power of indifference, emotional pain and bleak anguish. However, fate gave her a tiny, gentle creature, which, like a breath of fresh air, filled her existence with new meaning. From the very first moments of his appearance, the little kitten Felix became a source of warmth and comfort for the woman. His trusting gaze, affectionate touches and quiet purrs penetrated Carol's heart, melted the ice of alienation and awakened in her the desire to live again. Gradually, step by step, she learned to rejoice in each new day, to find happiness in simple moments and to rediscover the world through the prism of love for her small, defenseless friend. Thus, taking care of Felix, Carol was able to overcome her loneliness and feel the warmth of life again. Life is unpredictable. It can unleash a hurricane of pain on us, deprive every morning of meaning, and then, quite unexpectedly, throw up a tiny but significant chance to start over. Felix was not a miracle in the usual sense of the word. He did not speak human language, he did not have magical abilities. But it was he, this small ball of fur, who was able to melt the ice in Carol's heart, return her desire to live, feel and smile. Sometimes it seems to us that we are standing on the edge of the abyss, that beyond it is only emptiness. But fate always finds a way to give a sign, to give a reason to cling to new hope. For some it is a meeting with an interesting person, for others it is an accidental book, someone's warm look, and sometimes just a small furry creature that appeared at the right time. Carol stopped wondering long ago whether it was an accident or a sign from above. She is simply grateful to life that there is now Felix in her house, not just a cat, but a real friend who will never betray, abandon or forget. And although he cannot speak in words, his eyes reflect the most important thing, devotion, love and warmth, which is sometimes stronger than any words. So, if you suddenly feel that everything is lost, listen. Perhaps somewhere nearby your own little Felix is already waiting, the one who can fill your life with light and meaning. Friends, if you liked this episode, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to our channel. There's a lot more to come. See you soon.